Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host, Josiah April, and with us we have an all-star. Julie's back. Whatever she was gonna come back. We love it. Okay,
Hello, hello, hello.
so so we don't really know what we're gonna talk about today. We just know it's gonna be good. Um,
Period.
but while Julie looks over whatever I sent her on Instagram, I wanted to just go ahead and fangirl while she does that. So, y'all, Julie is in a beautiful relationship. Y'all
Aw,
remember when
thank you.
yes, y'all remember when she first came on the episode, in season one, and like the growth to what we see now. Y'all have to go follow her on Instagram so y'all can also see this growth. And I'm just loving it, seeing her live her best life.
Well, thank you. I've been in an era of healing and also, I mean, I've kind of always been in my era of healing, but like in a
Right,
different way, if that makes sense. Like
right,
I was in an era of like individual healing from like past wounds and stuff like that, and like verbal and emotional abuse. But now I'm in like a relationship healing era where like now those like toxic traits that I was used to,
yeah.
and the toxic traits within myself, because let's be honest, we're all a little toxic, toxica.
Right.
Um, now we're working through that, like
Yeah.
how it works, because like a lot of people like tell me or have told me in the past, and even now I hear it. It's like you shouldn't be in a relationship if you're not fully healed, which is partially true. I feel like it's partially true.
Preach.
Yes, it's partially true. Yes, you should be healed before you're in a relationship. However, like you can't
Mhm.
be there's no such thing as fully healed in a relationship,
Exactly.
because you have to be in a relationship to like experience the toxic parts of yourself, because you're a different version of you in a relationship. Let's just be fully
Exactly.
honest. So like
Julie. Yes.
yeah, so like when people tell me that, it's just like, yeah, but like you learn different things about yourself when you're with a person, because like with your person, they're gonna bring out other parts of you. And that's gonna be
Yes.
great parts of you, and it's gonna be shitty. Let's just be fucking honest. It's gonna be shitty. Um,
Yes. Oh my
but before we
gosh.
get into that, how have you been, my love? You been
Okay.
okay? How's life? How's school? Because listen, we've been struggling. This world is one hell of a world to live in.
Yeah, 1000%. So here's the scoop. Two things. One, Julie, you just gave me all kinds of life with what you just said because I was literally just talking about this yesterday with my best friend. And when I was
Period.
having some self reflection time, I was
Mhm.
thinking about these things and I was like, so we're gonna get into that after I answer your question. But what also I'm gonna do before I answer your question, your episodes are always fire. So I know I'm gonna struggle to find a advertisement soundbite because there's gonna be just so much good things. Oh shoot, are you frozen? Okay, she looks good though. She looks good though on this frozen clip. But let's see. Okay, so folks, so like while she gets back unfrozen, I'm gonna go ahead and stall and answer her question. So, how am I doing? Woof. So, the other day, um, the other, oh, okay, Julie's back. Here we go. Okay, you're back.
Hello. Oh my God. Can you? Okay. Well, I guess the
Um,
other. There we go. All
yeah, I
right.
took it
Sorry about
out.
that.
Okay, so
It's raining here in Houston. There's technical difficulties. It's just the internet is internet.
yeah, it's okay. I stalled fabulously.
Wonderful.
Yes, I love that. So, how I'm doing,
Mhm.
I'm healing. I love because I tend to heal in layers.
Right.
Um,
Makes sense.
and folks on here know that I struggle with suicidal ideations. Like, that's just a
Right.
part of my mental illness. Um,
Right.
it's a part of it. So I definitely had to reach out to my support group a couple days ago because I was like
Mhm.
really, really, really close. You
Mhm.
know, so that is how I'm doing in that area, if I'm being honest. And then let's see, I'm also realizing that I'm starting to heal from physical abuse.
It's
Because I tend
amazing.
to heal in, yeah, I tend to heal in layers.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
which is, yeah, you know, so it's
That's
just like I could
okay.
just tell, like, when my higher power is about to help me heal from something new, like, what happens is, at least for
Period.
like some months to a year, like, my higher power, they will like put it, notice I said they, period. They'll like
Yes.
put it in my head, um, and they'll
Oh
start
God, what the
to
hell's happening?
help me connect to some roots. Oh my God, Julie froze again. We love a good technical difficulty. We love that. Let me message her really quick. But we can get into day folk. So, okay, so this is what I think we're going to talk about. So, I had an epiphany, a revelation about loneliness the other day. And when it comes to like relationships, and then that whole societal matrix of, oh, you know, if you don't love yourself, then you can't love someone else. I got a different argument and perspective on that I need to point out. And then also when it comes to just being vulnerable in that aspect of loneliness and then that whole relationship aspect, I got some things to say about that. And I would love to know people's opinions about it. And so we love the Julie's
All right,
back.
this should be the last time. I'm so sorry.
It's
This happened
okay.
last time. I'm so sorry. This is part of the house that I'm in. It's very weird.
I am stalling very, very well. So I was telling people what I think we're gonna talk about. So okay, so I would love to talk about actually the whole
Hmm.
concept of loneliness and the stigma behind it. I'm gonna get everything out first, and
Go
I
for it.
want you to just share your perspective after this. And the
Go,
reason
yeah, go
why
for it.
yeah. And the reason why I got to get everything out first is because I will forget. Because this is a new, like, deep revelation. So it's
Right.
really recent. So I forget.
Yeah, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
So when it comes to the whole idea of loneliness, one that that has such a stigma. Now, loneliness literally does psychological harm to an individual. We see that majority of males, I think it's about 64%, are lonely. Um, Currently, I don't know if it's globally or if it's just in the United States, but the experience of loneliness, feeling that loneliness, not being single, loneliness, and you can be in a relationship and still be lonely, you know.
I agree.
Yes, and so I, at least from what I've experienced from the societal matrix, and my higher powers help me to see this.
Hmm.
Also, I want to, after this, I want to talk to you a little bit about like the higher powers thingy.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Everybody is good. Let's just say that. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Yeah. So at least from what I've experienced, especially being on social media, you know, there's a stigma with just expressing that you feel lonely or that you're lonely. There's a stigma like, oh, you're weaker or something like that, or
Right.
something's wrong with you, right? And that's like
Even though you're not, you are a human and we
right.
experience loneliness. That's just
Exactly. And
you're
how
a human
human
being.
beings, yeah, yeah. And human beings, like that's how we need each other. Like that's how we came from like the caveman days to whatever the fuck this modern age is. So much going on with this modern
Thousand
age.
percent. 1,000% agree.
1000% agree. I'm not ready for election time. I'm not ready for election time.
Oh,
I'm
honey.
deleting Yeah, I'm deleting YouTube. I don't turn on the news anyway, but I will not be I will stay far away from all that negativity that they're strategically about to bring. I think it's a
Oh, honey, yeah,
strategy.
no, trust me. All the conspiracy theories that I've been hearing and all the things that I've
Oh my
talked
god,
about amongst my
yeah.
peers, it's absolutely insane. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just trying to live my little old life in this little world. I'm just trying to be peaceful. I'm just trying to be
Live your best
comfortable
life.
and take care of
Exactly.
myself and exist peacefully without stress. Like,
Exactly.
it's too much
Exactly.
to
Oh
ask,
my god.
apparently.
Yes. well, I don't want to get off topic because I'll forget. But there's something
Yeah,
that I
no,
wanted to say
go
about
ahead, go pop off,
Congress.
sis.
No, I'm gonna say it. Something I said about Congress. So like, it just seems like they all just hate each other in there. I just feel like it's a negative aura in there. I'm like, it's nothing but drama and chaos in
Hmm.
there. And I'm like, oh my god, like,
Hmm.
do y'all miss high school that much?
No, for
Do y'all
real.
miss
I'm just
middle
like,
school
bro,
that
am
much?
I talking to high schoolers or am I talking to adults?
Right,
Like,
exactly,
um, yeah, like with the
exactly.
yeah, with like
Julie for
with
president.
right.
Okay, so, and this is something that, like, I forgot exactly what I was gonna say. I'm gonna be honest, but that's okay because we love good ADHD. This is
Li-
vulnerability time. That's
Listen, yeah, it's
okay.
okay. We're gonna get on topic. We're gonna get on topic. It's okay. We'll be back.
Exactly. And okay, so like the societal matrix, it's like it's not okay to feel lonely. Like this is the thing. I know people say, and I know this is debatable, but when people say you can't love someone else and until you love yourself, I think that that is a reality. I just don't think that that's everybody's reality. Oh my God, y'all! Julie's frozen again. That's okay, cause I am about to spit some fire. Julie's back. Julie's
My
back.
God, I hope this stops happening. I'm so sorry.
It's it's
Ah,
okay. You literally didn't miss anything. But that whole thing of you can't love someone else until you love yourself. I think that that is a reality, but that's not everybody's reality. People are like
right.
individual, and in life, there's so many people that are taught to hate themselves, and it's just like
Yes, 1,000% yes.
exactly. So I'm like, like if someone's taught to hate themselves, they can also be taught to love themselves. And it's just
Right,
like, yeah. So it's just like maybe someone coming along, this person will still be able to receive that love even though they hate themselves. And that could be the healing that they need. And then there are some people, they like don't like themselves. So they're in a spot where they can't receive. They
right.
project the hate that's going on inside. So it's just like, yeah, that statement of like, oh, you can't love someone else until you love yourself. I think that that is a reality for some, but that's not everyone's reality because,
Absolutely. Yeah,
right, when we're talking
it
about
can't be something that's
humans,
applied to everybody.
right, and
Like
that's something I
and it's not a
learned.
definitive true fact 100% concrete type thing. Like yeah, like you said,
Yes,
it's a reality for some people, but for some others it's not. It's harder. It's harder.
right. And
A lot harder.
exactly. And that's what I was gonna get at. You hit the nail right on the head. Is when it comes to humans, I've learned recently that it is almost impossible to generalize because unless you have met literally
Mhm.
every single human on this earth and heard their experience,
Mhm.
right? So it's just
Mhm.
like, right. And so this whole so that's what I'm thinking. I was just like, and that's the thing. Like, yes, you can love yourself. This is another thing. You can have self love, but that's not the answer and the solution to everything. You can
Right.
love yourself. However, it's also a different type of love when you have another person loving you
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
I somewhat think it's like, and I get like heat for this, but it's innately, I feel like it's somewhat selfish to just think that only because you love yourself that it's enough for a relationship. Like you have to be able to extend
Right.
that self-love to your partner, and you have to understand that like they
Right.
have their own needs too. I have a
Right.
story about that later, but yeah,
Yes,
it's
hit
like
us up with it right
you need
after.
to yeah, you need to be able to just think outside of just yourself.
Right,
It's
exactly.
yeah, it's a partnership,
And
you
then,
know.
yeah, and it's just like I've seen from the societal matrix. That is my favorite word for
Love
about a
it.
couple weeks now. The word matrix, the societal
Yeah.
matrix, that box that
Hmm.
we're taught to be in. Um, excuse me, conditioned to be in as well, because
Right.
that involves so much. Um, is that if you love yourself, you won't need someone else to love you. Like you can be independent. And I was just like, that is not like you can be single and love yourself, but that's self love. That's different than someone else loving you. So
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
right. So it's
Yeah.
like you can love yourself and still need, a romantic partner, and that's the thing. Need. I dare to say the word need Because we're human beings. We are
Right.
communal, verbal beings, and
Mhm.
we impact each other. So I dare to say, no matter how desperate this sounds, I'm learning to break out of the societal matrix. We
Mhm.
need each other. And
Absolutely.
right, and it's just like we need that we need that romantic part as well. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with needing that. Like, I think that a lot of people, I'm just going to throw the societal matrix. That's what we're going to be talking about when I
Yeah,
say
let's go. Let's go for it.
the societal matrix. This is what I've noticed. And it kind of ties into toxic positivity. It's the same principle of
Mm,
when something's uncomfortable, we're like, we kind of like, oh no, but this, or here's the problem to that, here's the problem solving,
mhm.
because it's too uncomfortable to have the space to be uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. I've actually been struggling with that. Not
Yeah.
struggling, but like that's something that I struggle with, and that uh, it will tie back to that story I was gonna tell
Yes.
later.
Write
But
it
yeah,
down so
like
you don't
it's
forget.
oh honey, it was something I just talked about in therapy about an hour ago.
We love
so
it.
so definitely will not be forgetting that.
We love that.
But yeah, being able to be uncomfortable and learning
Mhm.
to like regulate in the uncomfortableness, the word for that, whatever that word is for that discomfort. Um
Yeah.
like people are so this applies to my job as well. Like, people are so quick to come up with solutions because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And I just
Right.
go like, as someone that is a quick problem solver in relationships, I like to solve things immediately. But my
Same.
partner is not that kind of person. Like, you just need to be able to learn to be uncomfortable and sit in that and allow other people to process things the way they process it. Just like how you have your own processes to things.
Right,
Um,
exactly. And that's the
yeah,
thing, we there needs to be more space to be in comfort, because at the end of the day there is so much growth in the uncomfort.
I agree.
There's so much. Yeah, and so it's like um I think the societal matrix, they don't it's we're not conditioned to um we're just trying to find the solution to the uncomfort without giving the space for the uncomfort to feel itself out, to do what its purpose is. Something
Right.
I've also noticed is that when it comes to grieving, and in this context, breakups, but grieving is just the loss of anything that you're used to. And
Right.
good things and bad things. When there is a loss, there has to be a grieving process. And I'm going
Absolutely.
to go a little bit deeper into that is I see it kind of like, I'm going to use this analogy or parallel, whatever the word is it's like milk. Milk has an expiration date. You know what
Right.
I mean? Now, when it hits that expiration date, you can drink the milk 1 or 2 days after. It's probably not going to hurt you. It might and might not. Now, if you drink that milk a month or two after, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And so, what I'm meaning by this is that milk can be, the things that come with the breakup. That process of having to quote unquote get over someone. And this is the thing, everybody, when it comes to those things, everybody has a different expiration date with the pain that comes with the breakup. You know what I mean? That missing that person. And so it's like some people, the milk in this oh my god, Julie froze again. The milk in this here, I'll wait for Julie to come back on. Okay, there she is.
We're just
Okay.
gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, that's okay. So maybe let me try to make this make sense again. Okay, so um it
Everybody has
hurts
a different
after.
expiration date for sure.
Correct. And so it's just like we got to give other people and ourselves the space to grieve the loss of someone. The milk um, is symbolic to all that grieving that comes with a breakup. The missing the person, the feeling desperate, the feeling lonely, all
Right.
of that. And I realized that it's not healthy to tell someone. so quickly to get over something because
Oh yeah, for
everyone,
sure.
right, every pain has an expiration date, but every pain also serves a purpose. And some
Hmm.
people, that pain to quote unquote get over someone, it's gonna last a year. It might last 2 years. Some people it might last 3 months. If someone got over someone within a day, I would love to meet them and then ask them why they're lying. You know, and
Seriously though,
so
I would love to know that same thing.
right. I'm just like, did you really feel to heal? You're grieving something important to you. Allow
Yes,
yourself to grieve.
yes.
It's okay if you don't, quote unquote, get over someone in the instant. And that's also the thing. I learned recently that I'm gonna take away that statement in my life that get over because that's the thing. We gotta get through. We gotta grow through something. We can't get over it. We're that hurdle is still gonna be there. Like we gotta
Mhm,
grow through it. We gotta get through it. You know what I
mhm.
mean? We
The
can't
obstacles
get
will never go away. You don't just
right.
get over something.
Exactly. You gotta
Yeah,
heal. You gotta
for sure.
process. You gotta, because at the end of the day, like we just invalidate it and push it under the rug in the name of quote unquote getting over it, and we're just lying to ourselves thinking
Yeah,
that we've healed and forgave. I'm
for
like,
sure.
it's gonna come back up if you don't
Yeah,
have it,
something that I've learned through like therapy and like self-work, and also self-worth,
yeah,
is like getting over something or teaching yourself to get over something. You're kind of doing yourself a disservice, right? Um, People think that getting over things is that you're strong enough to just move on from the situation, whether it's a breakup or a death
right,
or losing a job or anything like that. Like you need to get over it, and that's a sign of strength.
yeah,
Um, okay, there we
yeah,
go. Okay, and that's a sign of strength, and to me, that really is a sign of I don't want to say weakness, but it's not a sign of strength for
right.
sure.
It's not a sign of
Um,
strength. Exactly. It
it's not,
takes
yeah, not a
strength
sign
to
of strength.
face problems. It
Yeah,
takes
same
strength to
same thing
face.
with like any negative connotating emotion, whether it's like sadness or anger.
Yeah,
People see that like if you are quick to be sad, or if you are feeling sad about something, or if you're feeling angry about something, or if you're feeling disheartened, that's a sign of weakness. But it's not a sign of weakness. I would argue that it's a sign of strength processing those emotions and
yes,
going through the work because you're you're pushing through that obstacle to get to the other side,
right,
metaphorically speaking, right?
right,
um and I don't like that whole like toxic stigmatism of like
right,
if you're sad or if you're lonely, if you feel lonely, if you feel
right,
any of these negatively connotated words, that you are innately weak, which is,
right.
I think, the quite opposite. That just shows that you're human.
Right,
We're not
exactly.
robot. We're not robots. We don't. Yeah, we're not robots. We don't
Right,
operate on a schedule. You know what I mean? Maybe some people do, but that's definitely not me. I would love to know how that schedule works. You know what I mean?
right. Yes, exactly. I
Yeah.
love what you said. Yes, because that's the thing. Like, facing the uncomfort is so much strength because you're facing it head on. You're not running from it. And it's just like,
Mhm.
I know, especially last generation, kind of taught, what strength means and men can't have emotions or
Oh,
stop crying about that.
don't
And
even get
it's
me
just
started
like,
about like toxic masculinity and stuff like that. Man, it's crazy.
right? And it's just like, maybe those tears, maybe you acknowledging that emotion is facing it head on. Now, if we were
Mhm.
to, let's talk about, like, let's see, I don't know, let's say if the problem was a person and it's bothering you and
Mhm.
it's bullying you and you finally confront that problem and say, hey, I'm not okay. Stop doing
Right.
this. You know, that's what those uncomfortable, those quote unquote weak emotions can be. You're facing something. Now, what society has taught, the social societal matrix has taught what strength is, it's pretty much just running away. Now, if
Mhm.
people see, like running away from a person, there we go,
Right.
we'll
Right.
use that. Right, we'll use that other person as like symbolic. Now, If I go and ask a toxic masculinity male, and I'm not bashing, I'm just saying, they've been
Yeah.
taught certain things.
Someone that exhibits those traits,
Right.
characteristics.
I was like, now, if you ran away from someone bothering you, do you consider that strength? They're going to say no. And I'm like, so why do that to the problems? What is really
Mm,
strength here?
period.
What is really
Yeah.
strength?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And that's also something like for me.
Hmm.
I love myself. I am so glad. Now, I was one of the people growing up because of all the abuse and stuff like that. I was taught to
Right.
hate myself. I wasn't
Right.
the lucky few not lucky few, I wasn't the lucky ones who was able to, still receive love and heal from that. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
Alone. Like, I was one of the ones that I hated myself, so therefore I couldn't really love anyone because I would
Right.
end up projecting that hate. Now, I wanted love.
Right.
I didn't know how to receive it, I didn't know how to give it,
Right.
and what I
You're never
was
taught.
taught. Yeah. And what I
Yeah.
was taught love was, it was just abuse. I
Understandable.
remember
Yeah.
when I in middle school, I wanted a boyfriend. And my
Hmm.
ideal relationship that I had played out in my head was us getting in arguments,
Right.
us ghosting each other, but then coming back, all these toxic things that I thought was love, that was clearly not love.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. And
You. It's
so,
like you visualize like in my personal experience, like arguing and then eventually coming back together after arguing. That's what relationships are supposed to be like. You
right.
kind of hate each other, but you love each other at the same time. So you argue, and then eventually you come back together. And that's beautiful, quote unquote, right? That's beautiful
Mhm.
because you eventually persevere through the fights and the screaming and the yelling to finally come back together in this unison. And that's what relationships are supposed to be about, which is, I'd
Mhm.
argue, not. To
Right, right, exactly.
some people, that's their reality.
I would even be vulnerable to say that, like, part of that dream was, it's okay if they hit me, like, oh my god, y'all, Julie's computer. What's happening? Okay, Julie's back. So I would even dare to be vulnerable to say that, in middle school, like, I also thought it was love, like, if a significant other put his hands on me. You know,
Yep.
that's how that it was. That's how I was taught love was, and it's just like, clearly that was not love.
Yeah,
Now,
same for me, except not with physical, like touching someone else. Is more of just violence in general, like screaming
right,
and yelling, hitting walls, putting
right,
holes in a wall, or throwing knives at each other. Like that's normal, totally
right,
normal.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and now I love myself. And I know how to love others. Okay, like
it's
both of the
beautiful.
ones that I was with, and I've only been with two people. They both said that they wanted to marry me. And this is the thing.
I don't blame them.
Right. I've done so much healing, so much self work. I'm
Yes.
still healing. Um, thank my higher powers have been helping me and healing me, and so, like, um,
It makes my heart warm hearing that. It really does.
yeah, and
I love
so
it.
it makes sense that they want to marry me. Like, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way. Like, I am proud of
Yeah,
myself. I came so far,
absolutely.
and it's just like, I love myself right now. However, I still want a romantic relationship. I still need a romantic relationship. That doesn't mean that I
Right.
can't, survive without it. It's just that, like,
You're
I don't
human.
care. Just because
You're
we
human.
can do something doesn't mean we have to. I can
Oh,
survive
you sound like
without it.
my thousand. I've heard that phrase from my therapist 1,000 times,
Yes.
and a lot of different things, like
Yeah,
boundaries and stuff like that.
exactly.
Just because you can deal with it or because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Hmm.
That applies to a
Right.
lot of things in life.
And I think when it comes to uncomfortable, taboo topics such as loneliness, and I just think the societal matrix doesn't quite know how to understand it because all it does is was taught to run away from it.
Mhm.
run away from those feelings. So it's like they don't face it to learn it. The societal matrix. There we go.
Right.
That's like what we're taught as a whole. And
Mm.
so that's the thing. I was like, I know I can be single. I'm doing a damn good job single. Doesn't mean I have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
okay to lean on someone's heart, to have them lean on you,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And last thing, and then I want to hear all of your perspectives. And thank you, Julie, for letting me vent all this out so that I
Yeah,
don't forget
man,
it.
of course. No,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Go
I'm,
pop off, sis. Telling you, pop off. It's okay.
yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here. You're teaching me things as I'm listening, so.
Oh, we love it. We learn from each other, Julie. I swear, every episode is just absolute fire. Um, there is someone, that I open up about of how I genuinely feel and care about them. You know
Right.
what I mean? How I told them I was like, honestly, I fell in love with you. Just
And
straight
hey,
up. Now,
period.
right? I will say this. I will say they're too scared of society to acknowledge that part of themselves.
Right.
That makes sense. I've heard
Understood.
many quote unquote straight guys tell me there's something different about me and they like me. And I'm in my head like 98%, yeah, 98% of
Mm,
humanity is sexually fluid. Ask Sigmund Freud. His
mm.
theories state that, yeah, and I'm just
Me and my
like,
girl talked about it 1,000 times. This
right.
straight people just swear up and
Straight
down.
identifying.
Straight
Straight,
identifying. Straight
yeah,
identifying. Swear up and down. They ain't going nowhere else.
right.
I'm just saying. Is it
Exactly. And
just
this is the thing. It's like it's like the societal matrix has taught people to suppress that part, in themselves. And
yes.
now I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't hate men anymore. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But I don't. I don't.
I'm
I've
glad.
always loved men. I feel like I'm that part. I feel like I'm that 2% of society that's not sexually fluid, which is a bummer because a lot of men get on my nerves. Not all of them.
A
Um,
lot of men get on my nerves too.
but you know how society is always been, unfortunately, the world has always been male run. Guess what
Unfortunately,
though?
yes.
I just now realized I was like, yeah, it's been male run and it still is, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to get political, folks. I'm just saying I would love to see a world where everybody runs. It's
Yeah,
not
people get
just
so heated over it, but it's like if you look at stats,
right. Look at the
like
statistics. It's just
look at
facts. It's not me.
statistics.
It's
Yeah,
facts.
that's
Yeah.
unfortunate facts, but yeah.
And it seems like men I was thinking male powers always screwed over the women, but I was like, ooh, seems like the male powers screwed over themselves a little bit more. Because I'm like, men are the ones that are taught you can't be
And
human.
that's
Men are the
and
ones that
that's
are
literally what I have been trying to say to the men that like have told me like that that society or that women are the reason for men's downfall, I guess. Like not really in those quoted words, but kind
I
of
know what you
like just
mean.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, but you have to understand that these societal norms and the patriarchy has been instilled by men.
Yes.
Like I was like, I don't think anyone knows history that well. Like when I talk to them, anytime I talk to them, I'm like, you realize women did not have power
Right.
women had no say in a lot of things.
Right.
Men instilled
Exactly.
these roles. So really, like, excuse my language, but like y'all fucked yourselves.
They did. It's vulnerability time. We
And
cuss.
I'm like, y'all fucked yourselves, and you're upset at it for being like, oh,
Yeah.
I have to be the breadwinner. I have to be the man in the house that does the like handyman stuff,
Right.
the fixing and the this and the that. And I go, well, like you don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't
Right.
have to do that.
Right.
I don't
Because
know.
it's not like women were. Oh my God, Julie's Julie's thing. Okay, Julie's back. Okay.
Hello. 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 I'm
So
back. Anyways, yeah,
it's
like
not
men
like
don't have to do
women
that.
were even in the position of power to,
To make
you know,
these they make these ideologies a reality, right?
exactly. So it's
And
just
so like
like,
when I tell men these things, they get butthurt and they kind of stay away from the subject and they're just like, you know what, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's not talk about it. And I go, okay, I mean, it's fine. If you don't want to talk
that's
anymore,
the
go right
issue.
ahead,
We don't
honey.
want to
But
talk
that's
about
running
it.
away from the issues. Like you're running away from the issues. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, people
And
get
I'm
very
just like,
sensitive. Like men get very sensitive on this topic when I talk about it, and they're just like, and they just kind of roll their eyes and look at me like, oh, such a like she's a femme, you know. I don't want to say that,
right,
and
put a
the
label on it and then run away
yeah,
from it. That's
yeah, they're
comfort,
like, oh,
right?
she's just a femma bitch. I'm gonna replace the typical word for it, but she's a femma bitch. She's a like women empowerment type thing. Like, oh, you're just another feminist, and I just go, I mean, like, yeah,
Right,
I'm not
right,
just I'm not just any other feminist, but I'm just a woman that's also advocating for women.
right.
Um,
And that's also the thing, Julie. It's
yeah.
like two things. One, speaking on that point of like women were the men saying women are the downfall. I'm like, well, I mean, no, because like if we look historically, we see all these wars were caused by who?
Period. And
Men.
whenever people say women can't be in places of power because they're too emotional, they're too this, they're too that, they can't make executive decisions, they can't yada yada. They're gonna incite this, this, and this. And I go, okay, but every single war in history has been in
Started by
like
men.
has started by men. And I
Yes,
just
men
don't
are the ones that
understand
kill each
what is
other.
not going through people's heads when I say these things. Like it's just
Right,
and like maybe the people I work with and the people I as like I are in my life it's just in one ear out the other.
right.
And a lot of the men in my life are just like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just not going to pay any mind to it.
Exactly. And that's also the thing. Change comes with challenge. So we're seeing this challenge
Mm-hmm.
because society, the societal matrix is starting to change. And there's a lot
Right.
of people that are now slowly starting to come out of the societal matrix. And so we're seeing that challenge because there's change happening. We're seeing that, guess what? There is men are not better
Mm-hmm.
than women. We're all just human. That's just what
Yeah.
it is. They're
Human
just
beings, there are human beings that are better than other human beings. That's just
right,
how the world
exactly.
works. Like, it's just, it's crazy when I've talked about like, not to get too political, but like about
It's holiday time.
like trans yeah, like trans rights and things like that. Like I had a
Mhm.
topic. This is a conversation I had like months ago, almost a year ago actually. I can't remember how long it's been. It's been a long time. But we talked about how uh trans individuals should not be able to participate in certain sports because
Mhm.
of the advantages or disadvantages they would have in that gender normative sport, right? Like how trans women should not be able to play in a women's league sports, right? Because of the potential advantages they might have from being previously a man, right?
Right.
um and I argued, discussed with a friend how I kind of disagree with how they shouldn't. I'm like, I feel like they should. And they go, well, they'll have this. I'm like, like you have disadvantages everywhere, right? I was like, a male swimmer cannot compete with like Michael Phelps,
Right.
you know. Um, Michael Phelps is his own like he's
Yeah.
just an amazing human being with like all these different like they did tests on this guy of how he like just has all these different things that make him a better swimmer.
Right. My
But
ex-husband. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He's my ex-husband.
Oh, your ex-husband? Oh, who's your current husband?
Ryan Locks.
Mm,
I can't
I
even
love
say his
it.
name right. Ryan
And
Lochte.
that's like something like no, I thought it was Knox. I don't know either. But yeah, so it's like yeah, that's he's a man competing in a like a male league.
Yeah.
Just because he's better at it a man doesn't mean that like you know what I mean.
Right.
Um, it's like that. Like I don't like that argument. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you
Yeah.
you could so it does. They're like it's an unfair advantage. I'm like, well, then it's an unfair advantage to compare a male that scientifically dominates the sport because of his like physiological
Right.
attributes, and a male that or a guy that is not does not have the physiological aptitude, but they still compete in the same level.
Right, right.
So
Yeah,
it
I see.
just
Yeah, yeah.
like that argument is invalid to me, and I don't like it. Just it irks me when people say these things. It's like you just don't want to give this person their rights. That's
Yeah. Oh,
it's
two
yeah.
things that you made me think about. One, um, I forgot. Oh yeah, yeah. One I forgot to mention. Going back to the, oh my God, Julie's camera. I mean, Julie's connections. Look at us both posing. Look at us. We were both posing. We were both
This is gonna be
posing.
a pattern. It's gonna be a pattern. I'm just gonna come in with a good
Okay,
pose
Julie's
every single
back.
time.
Julie's back. The technical difficulties are strategic. There we go. Yeah, we planned
They
this.
are.
We totally planned this.
Yes, absolutely planned.
But going back to the humans being sexually fluid, um, well, I guess I have three things. So one, sexual orientation labels never existed. That is literally a modern age concept
100%.
that never
Yes.
existed back then.
Yes.
Most of human history never had those labels. So part of the modern societal, or well, we're breaking out of the but the older generation social matrix, which is trying to grip our generation.
Right.
you know, um, they put those in place. It's a great separation method. But also, um, male fluidity, male sexual fluidity. I'm just like, get them drunk and they won't be suppressing a lot of things. I was just like,
hmm hmm
there'll be a
It's
little, a lot more
I've
fun.
mentioned it to the the guys at my job and people that like I've associated myself with in society, and I just go, a lot of things that guys do are very homoerotic,
Exactly.
and
They just don't admit it.
they just don't. I don't say they don't get it. I think they do. They just don't want to accept it, right?
Exactly.
Like, so something that I talk about, like, it's an easy example is just sports.
Yeah.
Like the homoeroticism that is intertwined with like male sports.
Right.
Every time I mention it, they just go, "You're just another gay person trying to like invoke the gay agenda on us, and we're not gay." And I go, even if you were, nothing's wrong with it. Number one, number
Right.
two, like you just like you, I don't know. It's something so wrong with it. I'm like,
Right.
just let it be,
Exactly.
honey.
And
Just
I'm
let it
just like,
be. It's a little homoerotic, and that's okay. Like, just let it be,
right.
honey. Like, why are you so butthurt by
Right.
it?
I think they're
Pun
scared
intended.
of society react or their family's reaction. I also think that they're scared of themselves. People have to
Hmm
realize that like if someone, which was a lot of people, if there was a relationship where it was two people of the same, like sex, back then, even in the
It's a
quote unquote biblical
norm.
days, whatever, like it would be
Yeah,
it's normal. No one would like look at you up and down. It's
yeah.
normal part of society. They just
There
go
was that the philosophy of Bushido in like
mhm,
Japanese samurai culture, where like you were very dedicated to your samurai brethren, right? And there was I can't remember the book or the author that wrote about this, but it the principles of like Bushido and like the Samurai Brethren code was very like if you look at all their principles and things like that, very similar to just like manly love
yeah,
and like
exactly.
homoeroticism. And nothing's wrong with that. Nothing
Right,
wrong with that.
exactly. Nothing's wrong with it.
But with this modern day like stigmatism of like homophobia, because that's what it is, just homophobia,
Right.
internalized homophobia. People get
Ooh.
bothered. Mm, mm. Me and my friends have been talking. Me and one of my gay besties, we've been talking about this, the internalized homophobia. But like, it's just like they are in huge denial of the homoeroticism. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
okay to be somewhat in love with your like male coworker.
Exactly.
It's okay. I get it.
So many
I get
men
it.
are like missing out on the happiest, the best person for their heart
I get it.
because
Yeah.
it's like this one guy like
Period.
he's missing out on he knows me like he wants
Mhm.
to but that's the thing I learned it's toxic if I keep trying to beat a horse. Like if I bring the horse to the water and
Can't
make
force
it
the drink.
drink,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
has to drink on its own because I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna hurt myself um, any more than I already have by just being vulnerable with this person. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not gonna hurt myself. You know what I mean? I was just
Yeah. For
like,
someone that's emotionally unavailable for you. Right.
right. Well, he's emotionally available. He's
hmm
just his family is religious,
Ah, I see.
and they don't judge gay people. He just doesn't know how they're gonna
To
react if he
approach.
tells them I kind of like a guy, never liked a guy
Right.
before. But the thing
Yeah.
is, um, I also want to mention this really quick. So I noticed that on my analytics that women have increased in the analytics of the podcast and men have decreased.
Really?
I
Wow.
just want to say this to every male listening, if you're still listening. If you're experiencing uncomfort, it's okay to and it's okay to investigate that uncomfort. Just in general, like when
Yeah.
we're triggered or uncomfortable, and I'm talking everybody,
hmm
maybe it's part of our healing process to investigate that uncomfort.
Yeah. Why are you? My therapist does a really good job of that in our work together with my time with her. Anytime I express any kind of discomfort or any like anger or sadness or anxiety, she goes, where does that discomfort come from? Why does it bother
Right,
you so much?
right,
Where in your growth as a child to an adult, where does that stem from? And it's like things that I like write down after my sessions. I go, where does it come from? Why does this bother me so much? And then you kind of get to the root of the problem eventually. It may
yeah,
not be right away, but eventually you get there, and it's liberating.
right.
Um, Understanding where it comes from,
Oh,
and then you
girlfriend, I got 4 more minutes because I have an assignment book review, scholarly book review that I have to finish, and I barely started. Oh my God, what is happening with the technical difficult? Oh, now we're back. Okay,
okay.
so I got 4 more minutes because this thing is due in a couple hours, and I barely did anything on it. Okay.
I feel that
Julie, you're a mess. I love you. Okay, so we're gonna need to plan a part two because there's something I wanted to mention, and I also wanted to hear just
definitely.
all of your perspectives on literally what
I
I
got
just
you.
said. Okay. What I'm gonna do, Julie, is I'm going to send this to you through Google Drive, and
Okay.
you're gonna have to pick the sound bite. I knew your episode would be fire, so it's gonna be hard for me to pick a sound bite because there's so many things that are so good, and it's just like I'm gonna sit there struggling and being indecisive, like which one. Like when I go to the restaurant and like all of this food is good, and it just doesn't help me because I'm just like I want it all, but I know I can't get it all, so I'm just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
got
Okay.
you. Yeah.
So I'm gonna send it to you like right now. If you have 48 minutes and 12 seconds to listen to it,
Yeah.
right after this, please do, because I want to post your advertisement soundbite immediately on my Instagram
Cool.
story, as a coming soon thing, because there have been multiple people asking for you to come back on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Thank them.
Thank them too. Yeah.
Okay, so folks, we'll be back for part two and all that good stuff. So yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
all right,
excited.
all right. Bye.